Welcome to another episode of Living in Columbus, Ohio, and today we are going to talk about the things that you need to know when moving to Ohio in the winter. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Brad Winter. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you could go ahead and tap on that subscribe button, give us a like, click the bell, leave a comment, we would greatly appreciate it. We want to notify everybody when we drop a new video. And in these videos, we talk about everything you need to know about living in the Columbus metro and the surrounding areas. Guys, a lot of people think I just work in the Columbus area. That's all we talk about. That's not true. We service all around the downtown market, into the suburbs, even out in the country. So don't forget, we know about those areas as well. For those of you that are new, a quick reminder, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Ohio. And as much as I love helping you with these videos or doing these videos, I love nothing more to help you with your real estate needs. So make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, fire off an email, because I'm gonna have your back when it comes to all things real estate related in the Columbus metro or surrounding areas. All right, let's jump into it. What you need to know about moving to Ohio in the winter. Number one, the mild temperatures. And yes, that might sound crazy, and we're gonna get into some other temperature stuff here shortly, but last week, first part of December, we were in the high 40s, low 50s, so very mild. I feel like every year since I was a child, you know, the winters here get more and more mild. We don't have as much snow anymore. Yes, the winter can still be brutal at times, but really the majority of the time, things are pretty mild. I mean, you're getting down into the high 30s, low 40s, you know, during the day, and then at night, obviously it gets down to the 20s and the teens, but that bitterness cold for the majority of Ohio, you know, it just doesn't exist as much as it once did. So if you are moving from a very cold weather area, maybe Montana, maybe Wisconsin, New York City, Vermont, somewhere like that, you know, it might be a little bit of a fresh air for you. You know, it won't be as cold. If you're moving from California or Florida and you haven't been in this kind of climate before, you're probably still gonna think it's cold, but it won't be as bad as maybe what you think it's gonna be. The second thing you need to know is the delayed cold. Now, this might contradict what I just said. Number one, about the mild temperatures, but it seems that we really don't get the cold temperatures or the colder temperatures until, you know, that January, February timeframe. And, you know, by then you're in the thick of winter, it's gloomy out, it's cloudy, you're kind of tired of it, and then you get slammed with maybe a week or two, you know, that kind of nasty coldness. So November, December, early January, you know, you're gonna have those mild temperatures that we talked about, some cold days here or there. But then as this winter gets on later in January, February, you should expect it to definitely get a lot colder. So, you know, it's kind of like a darn if you do, darn if you don't situation, right? Just remember, it's not gonna be as bad as what everybody says, but you should understand that we do have some cold weeks and some really cold days. It's just gonna be delayed in the wintertime, not, you know, right in December when everybody thinks winter starts. So the third thing that you should know if you have never experienced a winter of any sort is you need to make sure you've got a snow shovel in the garage, you have some salt, and if you have a big driveway, or not even a big driveway, maybe just a driveway, or you have a lot of sidewalks around you, maybe investing in a snowblower might be a good thing to do as well. Now, that's not gonna work for everybody because not everybody is going to have a garage or access to those things, or maybe you can't afford those things, you know, but you should definitely have salt and a shovel because there are gonna be some days that are, you know, we're gonna have snow and you're going to need to shovel it off your driveway, maybe clean out, you know, your sidewalks for your neighbors, for the mailman. But it's also good to have salt because while we don't always have a ton of snow, we do get a ton of ice. And that is something that I feel like maybe as an adult, I have recognized more than as a kid is, you know, we get these cold nights where we get rain, we get freezing rain, maybe it lasts into the day. And so ice has always been a thing that you need to be aware of, not only making sure that it is cleaned off on your driveway and on the sidewalks, but just being aware of it, you know, when you're driving as well. So have those tools, obviously hats, gloves, maybe a scarf, snowsuit if you're kids, or if you're gonna be out snowmobiling, you know, those types of things you should definitely have on hand. It's funny, I had a client, or I have clients that moved from Arizona, married couple, they're now our neighbors, some of our best friends, but they had never experienced a winter before. They're from Southern California, then they were in Arizona, and, you know, we had them all prepped. They had hand warmers, they had their shovel, snow blower. It didn't have the right salt. You know what I'm talking about, Michael? You know, they had all the things ready, and we didn't even have that bad of a winter last year. So it was kind of funny for them to go through that and to see it. And I keep telling them, like, we haven't had the type of winter we normally do. But again, that's because we're having mild winters. We might not. But long story short, make sure you have all the tools and equipment that you need, because you never know when you're going to need it. Oh, and also make sure you keep in your car like a good de-icer, pick, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you get the ice off your car. It's always good to have. Another thing that you should do is embrace the layers. Yes, you are going to want to wear a lot of clothes and jackets and all those things during the winter. So what's interesting here is while things are mild, as far as temperatures are concerned, it might feel a little colder than what it is because we don't have a ton of sun during our winter months. One thing that a lot of people will do, and you'll see people walking around, is layered up, right? You'll have, you know, a shirt, a sweater, or a hoodie, and then you have your winter jacket, and then you have a winter hat. You have your gloves, you have your scarves. Now, you're gonna see a lot of people walking around the shore north or walking in the, you know, the suburban neighborhoods when they're walking their dogs or with their kids, and they're gonna be bundled up. Some of them are gonna look goofy. Some of them are gonna look super cozy. So, you know, that's something to be aware of. Is you can never, my philosophy is you can never have enough clothes, right? If you're gonna be outside, I would rather be hot than be cold. I think there's nothing worse than being cold. So that's something, you know, kind of funny, but hey, a lot of people don't know. Familiar with cold temperatures is you're gonna see a lot of people layering up, so make sure you do that as well. The next thing that you need to do is make sure you prep your home. I know this seems kind of maybe silly, or sometimes people don't even think about this, but there are things that you should do to prep for winter. If you have an irrigation system, for instance, for your yard, make sure you call the company and have them clear out the lines, right? You don't want any water in those lines. You don't want any frozen pipes to happen. If you don't want to do it yourself or don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, those companies will come out for a small service fee, and they will do it for you. I always like to have a furnace serviced, right? You know, no matter if it's brand new or 20 years old, it's always good to have your furnace service going into the colder months, so you know if anything is wrong leading into those months, or, you know, if maybe you have to buy a new furnace, or, you know, you never want to be caught off guard. So that's always a good thing to do. Another thing, I guess depends on where you live, is if you have a wood burning fireplace and you intend to use that wood burning fireplace, you should go out and either buy wood to have, or make sure you get all your wood cutting done in the fall when it's enjoyable to do, and then you can have it at your home stacked up, ready to go. If you have a gas fireplace, you know, it's always good to earlier on, maybe in November, early December, before it gets too cold, is, you know, turn the gas fireplace on, let it run. I know for me, I hadn't had the gas on for, you know, probably 7 or 8 months, and so, you know, it took a while to get things started, and then I just gradually, you know, turn it on until now it's on throughout the day and evenings when it's nice and cold out. Those are some things that you can do. You know, landscaping, get everything tidied up. I mean, I've been working on my leaves forever. You know, it's important to get all your leaves out of your yard so they don't freeze to the ground and everything. Get all that stuff taken care of. So just some home maintenance stuff that you may not be thinking about that you want to do before the cold sets in. All right, I believe this is the 6th thing that you should know when moving to Ohio in the winter, is you got to have some patience on the road. And what I mean by that is we're always in a big hurry to get everywhere, and, you know, Columbus or Central Ohio is a very easy city suburb area to get around in. You can get places relatively quick, but when it's cold out and the weather turns, just have some patience. A lot of times people are going to be moving a little slower in their cars, whether, you know, there's snow on the ground, the snow's coming down, maybe, you know, there's been some freezing rain and there's a lot of ice, or there's slush, there's things that you want to look at and, you know, kind of be careful of while you're driving. And so I feel like it's important that you have some patience for the people that are driving as well. Some things to remember is, you know, make sure all your headlights are working. So if you're driving at night and snow's coming down, that you can see properly, have fresh tires, or you have air in your tires, you know, just some little things to remember. But all I say is, like, have patience, because sometimes it gets a little dicey out there. And I know I've been in situations where maybe driving too fast, or maybe didn't realize how slick it was, and you go to brake and then you start sliding everywhere, and it can be kind of scary. Don't be crazy out there. Don't be mean. Just have some patience with people during the winter time. So the next one is a big question that people always ask me is, what's the sunshine like in the winter time? And let me tell you, we don't get a ton of full sun as it is in Ohio, just in general, right? That's just where we're at in the country and how the sun works. We don't get it. We're not like Colorado or Utah that have sun basically every single day of the year. I found an interesting fact. In December, we only average 10 sunny days out of the month a year in December. So that's not a ton. Now, classifies as a sunny day, but regardless, that's not a lot of sun. And in January and February, I'm guessing it's going to be right around there or less. A lot of people will talk about seasonal depression here, and that is a real thing. You know, when you don't see the sun, if you're not getting the nutrients that the sun provides you, then things can get a little gloomy. You can get sad, you can, be unhappy, all those things, right? The sun makes you feel a certain way. So my advice is plan for a vacation in the wintertime. We like to get out of here in January and go south for, a long weekend or a week if possible. But as far as sun is concerned, this isn't Colorado, this isn't Utah, not going to be getting the sun that you're used to during those winter months. So you got to be prepared for that. All right, so this is another interesting, so this is a life hack, if you will. You should get a winter car wash pass. So this next one, this is a life hack for you. They say keep your car, up on its maintenance, keep it clean, take care of it. Well, in the wintertime, a lot of people just neglect their car, right? They don't go and get it cleaned. It's too cold out or, whatever happens. My advice is you should get one of those monthly car wash packages. If it's in the budget, you can afford it, I would do it because you're going to get a bunch of salt and snow and, mush and all this weird stuff that you get during the winter here. And your car is going to look bad. It's going to not be clean at all, really. So that's my advice. You can go to Moo Moo Car Wash. Maybe that monthly pass is, I don't know, between $20 and $40. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't have one of those. There's a place, close to us that we have, a little mom and pop place. But anyway, you should keep your car clean. It's going to go a long way. It's going to, keep it running well. And so I think that's something that's overlooked by people that still even live here. They don't do that. But if you're moving here, definitely do that. If it's in the budget, get that monthly car wash pass. The second to the last thing is get your skis out. I mean, here's the deal. We're not gonna have ski resorts or any type of skiing that you would have out west or, up in the greater New England area. It just doesn't exist here. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But if you want some fun recreational skiing, if you have kids and you want to take them, there's kind of three main ski places in Ohio. You've got Mad River Mountain, which is in my hometown of Bellefontaine, Ohio, which is just about maybe an hour northwest downtown Columbus. So we call it the 10-minute uplift and a 10-second downhill. So you're not gonna get these massive runs, but they do a nice job out there. It's a good facility. And if you just want to go get your ski fix real quick, or like I said, have kids, great place to go. You also have Snow Trails, which is up in the Mansfield area. And then you've got the Boston Mills Brandywine Ski Resort, which is in kind of the greater Cleveland area. All those places do a really nice job. So if you are coming from a place that, has never had skiing before, maybe it's Florida or the Carolinas and you've never skied and you want to take it up before you go out west to try it, this would be a great place to do it, as these quote unquote hills are not very big. If you're somebody that goes out west a lot and you want to get some practice runs in, it's a great time to do it as well. Like I said, if you have kids, it's a great place to go spend the afternoon. A lot of those places also have tubing. You can do some lessons. Some places have ice skating. So again, fun family activity, and you can still get a little bit of the skiing fix here in Ohio. Coming in last but not least is you need to be ready for the wind. The reason why I saved this one for the last is because I think it's one of the most underrated things that we talk about. And I can tell you this, in the wintertime, I don't think there's anything worse than cold temperatures and wind. I'd rather just be cold and snow. That's fine, no big deal. I love snow and would take that in a heartbeat. But, Ohio is flat and we get a ton of wind and it can be brutal. So the temperature might not always be that bad. Again, we have a lot of mild winters, but when that wind rips through here, it is brutal. And so you need to be prepared for that. You should be prepared when walking your dog or your kids. Like, they might not be able to go out in that because the wind chill would be so bad. You need to protect yourself out there as well. There's some days that we haven't been able to go outside before because, the temperatures it's one of those brutal temperature days, but also you had a ton of wind going on and it was just absolutely brutal. When you're driving, that is another thing too. People second guess how powerful the wind can be when you're driving. So think about wind plus ice or snow can be a little dicey out there. So you should think about that as well. For all you people that are commuting downtown and you're going to be in a parking garage and walk to your building, you should bundle up, right? That's the layers that you're going to see. People, they don't want to be cold and mix in that wind, and it can be downright nasty. So that is number 10 on our list of the things that you should know about moving to Ohio during the winter time. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Living in Columbus, Ohio. One last time, I am a licensed licensed real estate agent here in the state of Ohio. I love doing these videos for you, but I would love more to help you with your real estate needs. So if you're thinking about moving, if you're already relocating, if you already live here, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, fire off an email, because I'm gonna have your back when it comes to all things real estate related in the Columbus metro and surrounding areas. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.